Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome back to day 2. We're going to focus today on setting great goals. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Tristan Griffiths. You can find me as ImTristanG across all the socials. Please do connect with me and the agency at It's Nomad 9, wherever you like to hang out online. As we look today at setting great goals, it's really important that we look at the process of setting good goals. It's not just setting goals for the sake of setting goals. We have to reverse engineer that success. In order to do that, there's a couple of different elements I'm going to talk to you about today that are going to really help you to set great goals. The first of which is you need to start with the end in mind. You have to know what success is going to look like so that you can reverse engineer that success, break it down, make it achievable, and make sure that you hit those goals. So when you start with the end in mind, what's that big dream, that big ambition, that goal that you want to drive towards? And we're talking big dreams here. What is the goal that would be your ideal outcome? That's for you personally, that's for your business, that's for the brand. Maybe it's for a product range or a service that you're going to launch. Whatever that looks like, think big and think what you really want to achieve with it. Start big and start with the end in mind. Then what I want you to do once you've done that is I want you to start setting clear and measurable goals. So in order to get to the big outcome and what success looks like, you have to have set measurable goals so that you know that you're on track and you're moving in the right direction. If you don't document what those goals look like along the way, the smaller goals, then it's going to be hard to measure and know that you're moving in the right direction in the direction of that big goal, that big dream, that big ambition for your business and brand. So start with the end in mind, set clear and measurable goals along the way, but really start to break it down. I like to refer to it as chunking down, looking at how you can take a big aspirational goal that might seem so far away right now and break it down into much smaller elements. I do this in day-to-day work, and so the same applies to those big goals within your business. Look at that big thing that you're trying to achieve and think over a 6-month period, over a 3-month period, over a month, over a week. What does that look like? What do you have to achieve day to day, week to week, month to month, and even year to year if you're going really long term? What does that look like? How can you chunk it down and write down those clear, measurable goals? So that as you move forward, you know that you're on track, you're moving in the right direction, and that you're actually going to achieve those goals. It becomes easier to see success if you know that you're achieving the smaller steps along the way. So I encourage you to chunk those things down and set small goals along the way that lead you along a path to success of achieving that big ambition and that big goal. As humans, we unfortunately quite often don't really perform at our best until we get close to deadlines. So not only are you going to set measurable goals along the way to make sure that you're leading a path to success, I want you to set really clear and strict deadlines. Think about when you've ever done work for school or maybe university, or maybe there's a project deadline for work, and be really honest with yourself. How much of the work did you get done at the last minute? There's a principle that sits within the 12-week year that talks about when you chunk those time units back down, instead of being 12 months, break that down to 12 weeks and suddenly you're getting more done. And then think about how many 12-week periods there are in a year and look at how much more progress you're going to make. So as you do this, I want you to look at those measurable goals that you've set along the way, the smaller tasks, and I want you to set deadlines for each and every one of them. So some will be maybe a matter of hours, maybe a matter of days, maybe a matter of weeks, but some of them will be much longer term, but they all need to have deadlines. And there's nothing wrong with adjusting those deadlines along the way, but you have to have deadlines. If you don't have deadlines and it's an ever-moving goalpost, you're unlikely to carry on pushing for that goal. You have to have a deadline so that you know whether you're on track to achieving it. When you've set those deadlines, when you've chunked things down, you need a level of accountability. I'm a strong believer that a one-to-one level of accountability is not the best way to go. I think that having a group of people hold you accountable means that you can never have that trade-off on a one-to-one where you let the other person off in the hope that at some point, if you stumble or you're falling behind, that they'll do the same for you. If you do it in a group environment, there's a collective pressure, like a peer pressure, to make sure that you stay on track and that you're achieving the goals that you've expressed that you will. In that environment, talk about it, share your goals, your deadlines, your aspirations that you're moving towards with the group, and make sure that they are holding you accountable in the same way you will promise to keep them accountable. Surrounding yourself with amazing people is going to help you move towards your goals and be more successful in achieving every step along the way. We talked about that human nature of how we work best when we work towards deadlines and how we tend to get more done in those situations. It's true as well that we're visual creatures, so I want to encourage you to make this visual. Whether that's a vision board, whether that's putting it in your calendar so you can see the deadlines coming up and it's super visual for you, whether you're drawing that out as a mind map to look at what that looks like on paper or maybe in a digital format, make it visual. Whatever works for you. Maybe it's in black and white, maybe it's in colour, maybe it's in pictures, maybe it's a mind map. Whatever works for you, you've got to make it visual. And by visual, I don't just mean being able to see it, but I mean placing this so that you can see it on a regular basis. It's all very well writing a plan, and this often happens with business plans. People write them and then they put them away and they don't look at them again. So I want you to make this visual so that you can relate to it, but I also want you to make it visual in the element of being able to look at it on a regular and consistent basis. You're not going to hit each of those small goals along the way unless you're constantly reminding yourself of what they are and when you need to achieve them. What's the deadline? What's the goal? What's the outcome? So that we know that we're on track and moving in the direction of the bigger goal. As you do this as well, human nature is we don't just want to be constantly striving, and the only time that we're really celebrating and enjoying and rewarding ourselves is when we get to the big goal. And of course you need to do that when you achieve those big things. Make sure that you do celebrate them. But I want you to roll back and look at the weekly tasks, the monthly tasks, the quarterly tasks. And I want you to look at every step along the way and set rewards in the process. You need to have a reward along the way to keep you motivated, to keep pushing forwards, to keep achieving the next goal. The deadline is one thing, but having a reward there that reinforces getting to that goal is going to make you push even harder to get to the next one. So when it comes to setting great goals, the things you need to remember are you need to start with the end in mind and know what success looks like. You then need to set clear and measurable goals so that you know the steps that you need to take from where you are today to where you want to be in order to get to what success looks like. You need to chunk down those goals, make them smaller tasks that are carried out over different periods of time and set deadlines against those. I then want you to have a level of accountability with friends, with family, with a peer group. Maybe you get into a mentoring group and have that as a collective peer pressure. Maybe you announce it to your community online so that there's accountability because you've said you'll do it. Maybe you do it through a live video. Maybe you write it on your blog. But don't be tempted to take it away. Hold yourself to a higher standard and stay accountable. Also make it visual in an element that speaks to you and that you enjoy looking at, but also place it somewhere where you're going to see it on a regular and consistent basis so that you can drive forward and hit those deadlines, achieve those goals and move in the right direction. And most importantly, reward yourself along the way. Keep yourself motivated, feel good and celebrate the small wins and the successes you have along the way. If you do all of those things, you are going in the right direction for setting great goals, and this applies to all areas of your business brand and your business growth, as well as in your personal life. You can apply this on both sides. So remember, setting great goals will get you to this level of success that you're looking for your business or brand much quicker, much more effectively and much more productively. I've been Tristan Griffiths. You can find me as ImTristanG across all the socials. Don't forget, this is just day 2 of 28 days of raising your productivity and improving your content creation. I can't wait to share the rest of the next 4 weeks with you. There's loads of tips coming for you on tools, techniques, strategies, and they're all things that we know work cross-industry, from smaller businesses all the way through to bigger businesses, and I can't wait to hear about all the success that you've been having. So let me know, next to this content, what is that big goal that you're driving towards with your business right now?